Friends, it's time for another reading from the salamander at the manger. And these are animal stories of the Holy Night. So this one is written by Evelyn Robin Nolt Jones, who writes all of these stories anyway. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to hear today the salamander at the manger. All right. So I just wanted to offer up this reading. Ari the salamander lived on the bank of a pond in the village of Bethlehem. From the moment of their birth, Ari felt different from other salamanders. While Ari's friends spent time testing their speed in the water, playing hide and seek on dry land, and sitting in the sun boasting of all the things they could do, Ari was a dreamer. They were content to sit on a rock looking at patterns in the sky and clouds. They particularly enjoyed the sunrise and sunset, watching darkness shift to light and light shift to darkness. Ari loved to spend time with the salamander elders who told stories of the old days when salamanders had the ability to live comfortably among the embers of fire. When light reflected off the skins of those ancient creatures, they became all the colors of the rainbow. Those ancient salamanders were considered creatures of miracle and magic. The elders explained to Ari that this skill had been bred out of the salamanders many generations ago. Salamanders were now just a deep green, which allowed them to be invisible in the water and among the moss-coated rocks. This change, explained the elders, was very important as it allowed salamanders to live unnoticed by predators and the rest of the world, which was just how they liked it. But sometimes Ari daydreamed about the ancient magical salamanders, wondering if those salamanders felt different from others. Ari had always had a feeling that there was something different about himself too. One day, as Ari sat on their favorite rock, something very strange occurred. The sun shone on Ari's skin, and Ari could feel their body tingling with warmth. Ari glanced down in the water and saw their own reflection. Their entire body had become all the colors of the rainbow. Ari was startled to see such a dramatic change in their appearance and fascinated by the sparkling colors. After freezing for a moment in shock, they ducked under a rock and out of sight. As they glanced over their shoulder, Ari saw that the rainbows were gone. Ari peered out at the other salamanders playing hide and seek, and none of the others had developed rainbows. Their skin was as green as ever as they darted and chased each other between the rocks. Ari dared to come into the sun again. The warm tingling returned, and a quick glance showed that Ari's skin was sparkling with rainbows again. Quickly, they scrambled back under the safety of the rock. For several days, Ari lived in a state of confusion and anxiety. They stayed hidden under their favorite rock when the sun was bright, crawling out only when a cloud covered the sun, or in the hours of dusk and dawn. At last, they decided to go and talk to the salamander elders. Maybe one of them would know what was wrong. As soon as Ari stepped into the light and their body glowed like a rainbow, the elders gasped in horror. "You too are invisible," they said. "You will put our whole community in danger if you can't blend in. You must leave quickly and never return." "You two are visible," I meant to say. Okay. "You are too visible." I'm sorry. "You are too visible." So Ari was shocked and hurt by their response. They had always felt loved and cherished by the elders, never dreaming their response would be so harsh. So feeling rejected, Ari left the pond. Nearby was a quiet stable behind an inn. Ari peeked through the door and saw a cow with a crooked horn who was clearly in charge. The stable was dark but clean. The cow offered Ari a corner near the water trough, and if they would help keep the fly population down. Well, that's what the cow wanted Ari to do, keep the fly population down. So Ari lived in the stable for a long time. They missed the pond, but the other animals in the stable were friendly and did not mind the presence of a salamander among them. The cow even allowed Ari to swim daily in the trough if they didn't splash too much. Occasionally, when they thought no one was watching, Ari would sneak out into the sun onto a large warm rock just to see if the rainbows had disappeared. And each time their skin tingled and the rainbows shone brightly. So they went back to the shadows of the stable. One day, the animals noticed that Bethlehem seemed to be busier than usual. The roads were crowded with people coming and going from the inn. Many people were looking for places to stay, and there were not enough rooms available in the town. At dusk, the innkeeper brought in a tired couple to the stable. The young woman was obviously about to have a baby. He apologized for the accommodations, but explained that there was no room at the inn. The cow was agitated at the intrusion. She even mooed angrily at Ari when a pesky fly landed on her crooked horn. As darkness fell, the young mother gave birth to a baby boy. I wonder who that baby boy is. She swaddled him tightly in cloth and laid him in the manger. Outside, a great star began to shine down on the stable, flooding every corner and shadow with its beautiful light. A unicorn with a golden horn appeared at the doorway, smiled at the mother and child, and laid himself in front of the manger. Ari was captivated by the starlight, the newborn child, and the mysterious unicorn. Cautiously, they crept out of their dark corner. The light from the star touched their skin, which immediately tingled and glowed with all the colors of the rainbow. The cow gasped loudly, for as long as Ari had lived in the stable, the cow had never seen him this way. The unicorn lowered his horn toward Ari, inviting the salamander to come close to the manger. Silently, the two magical creatures gazed at one another, and Ari's skin seemed to glisten even brighter. The unicorn lifted Ari up into the fullness of the star's light, and suddenly the entire stable was filled with rainbows that mixed with the light of the great star. The mother smiled as rainbows danced in the air over the manger and reflected in her child's eyes. "Little one," said the unicorn in a melodious voice, "you are part of the ancient species. The rainbow has always been a sign of God's promise to never abandon the world to destruction and evil. You glow with that promise, and so does this child. Tonight, God's promise shines among us. The child will carry that promise into the world as he grows, so that all people can know God's love and have no fear of being who they really are." As the unicorn spoke, the salamander felt the last bit of anxiety and shame finally leave them. Ari stretched and the rainbows danced even more brightly. What an incredibly beautiful story, right? May we always find people to surround ourselves with that encourage us to be our full selves. Much love to all of you, my friends.